A very warm welcome from Rugby Uncovered. I'm Paul Rodriguez, and myself and Tom Nash will be speaking to Hana Scherlangerova. She's the representative for the under-18s Women's Rugby in the Czech Republic. She set this all up herself, which is absolutely incredible. Hana, welcome to the show.
Hello. Hi, Tom. Hi, Paul.
Could you tell us a bit about yourself and what you do?
I am representative of Women's Rugby in Czech Republic.
Okay, you're a representative of Women's Rugby in the Czech Republic. How long have you been doing it for, and what does that actually entail?
I'm doing it for 14 years already. And I'm responsible for domestic competitions and all stuff regarding development of women's rugby in Czech Republic.
Wow, that must be a big job. I mean, have you got like a team underneath you?
I have a bunch of great players and ex-players who are trying to help me on the way to develop the rugby in Czech Republic. Yes.
Fantastic. And so what was your journey to rugby? How did you first start?
My brother was playing rugby since he was a kid. And I used to play basketball at that time. Sometimes when I was driving him to rugby trainings, I stayed to play touch with guys and stuff. And then at some point, someone came to me and said, we are just trying to build up first women's rugby team. Let's join us. You know how to play. You know something about the game. And so I started. And I quit playing basketball after 2 years, and I stick with rugby.
So what was your journey into actually creating a structure for women's rugby in the Czech Republic?
Well, there were some previously in 1980s. There were some teams, but first at 2004 we put there was a team created, then 2 teams, and there was more and more teams coming. But there was no structure, nothing. No one take care of us in terms of any competition. So I just came up with an idea of playing tournaments where each of the teams is hosting one of the tournaments. So we have some games, etc. And that was the way it started. And as the game was growing here, there was more and more things to manage. I was trying to make stuff official, the competition to become official, and the women's rugby to become recognized by the Czech Rugby Union, like an official part of it.
Wow, that must have been quite a lot of work, surely.
Well, it was rather, I don't know if mental would be the correct word. Simply the mentality in Central and Eastern Europe regarding the gender is different to Western Europe.
Yeah.
And obviously rugby was poorly men's sport. So yes, we were kind of strangers.
Right. I detect there's a whole story there about how this all happened, which is something that we should look into if we have some more time. Now that it's all set up, how many teams do you actually have, and what is the program for getting new players excited about rugby in the Czech Republic?
This job is more or less hanging with the clubs to get their players and to involve more players, especially young players. That's what we are trying to encourage the teams to not to only search for adult players, but try to get the young players and let them grow in the team. And this is something I'm not doing just by myself. The people and the players, the ex-players in the clubs are doing a great job on this. We have, at the moment, there is about 16 teams about girls or women are playing rugby in Czech Republic, which is not much, but
16 teams. I mean, that seems pretty good because, I mean, what we've seen from the Czech and the Slovak nations is quite an amazing amount of top flight athletes that have come out, considering on the global stage, considering how small the countries really are. So you're obviously very competitive people.
Yeah, this is a kind of miracle with the number of players we have, what some of the players can achieve. That's just incredible. But it's a reason why it's something what makes me motivated on doing what I'm doing. And also it's a great something we can sell to the players who are coming, to girls who want to start playing, that actually even in a small country where rugby is just a minor sport, they can achieve something like that. Yes. Play abroad, play in the best competitions in the world. We have a player who they joined the provincial competition in New Zealand. One of our ex-national team players, plays scrum half in Ireland, where with Old Belvedere she won the provincial competition, which is incredible.
That is incredible. It's very inspirational. You know, we've got to find out more about what you do in future episodes and follow some of these journeys. But before we do that, we've got Tom on the line. So over to you, Tom.
Hi, Hana.
Hi, Tom.
Hi. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Essentially, with no money and lots of volunteers, you have built rugby from when you were an international into what it is now. And the Czech Republic isn't well known for rugby, but how do you sell this game to all the children, for example, around the country? Is there a program where you go on a road show, or what does it involve?
Well, there is. We are trying to make rugby more visible, which is we don't have that much money to run big campaigns. There were some private stuff which was run like with contribution of the, not financial, but with some contribution of the Czech Rugby Union. But this was some like 8 years ago. And since that, this is all just club stuff. The clubs need to hire their players. The women's rugby, as a women's rugby, we are trying to help the clubs with some visibility that will be some united visibility, so that everyone can recognize it. So it is easier to share it through the social media, etc. Mostly it's the volunteers in the club trying to get more new players and then keep them.
Yeah.
Make the training and stuff so interesting that they are staying.
So it's largely a word of mouth thing, getting kids who might be interested to come along and have a go.
Exactly. Still, there's many adults coming, and many players, female players, starting first when they are adults. Like me, I started playing when I was at the university.
Yeah.
So this is still very common here.
Excellent. So something happened 2 years ago, since when the Czech Republic has been a serious player in women's rugby. You've won titles non-stop since then. What happened? It's a couple of years ago. It was a dramatic improvement.
Well, the quality of the players was always there. It was just about helping them to reach the potential of the team. The players didn't change very much, but we need to put a structure into the game and apparently we managed to do that, which was great. Also, there was lots of work done by the club coaches, who prepared the players most of the time. With the national team, they only spent a few weekends for the preparation, but the players were willing really much. They saw the change we made in the staff of the national team. They saw what we are ready to bring, the time we can spend with them, and they were working hard to achieve this. So
and you oversee the sevens teams as well, don't you? How much overlap is there between 15s and sevens? Because it's a big deal, isn't it, in the Czech Republic?
I was only involved. I'm still only involved with the under 18s. The senior national team is a separate unit, not separate. But I'm not involved. That would be really too much already. But yes, actually, the players, except I think 2 or 3 players. All players playing sevens for the national team, sevens aside national team, are also involved in the 15 aside national team. We don't have that many players to have 2 different teams.
But I imagine, particularly with a country like yours, appearing in the Olympics at a sport is a huge incentive.
This is what we are trying to where we would like to work more, like really show the opportunity that we have such a good players. Even we are a small sport that we will try at least to bring the team to the Olympic qualification. But we need some resources.
Sure. And does that come from the Ministry of Sport, from the government?
Yes, it's quite difficult the way we are getting money from the government. There are different ways we can get this money: through the Olympic Committee, through a special agency that are distributing money to sport, through special Olympic centers for top athletes, etc. So, yes, we are trying to get involved in this, so we can use this money to prepare players for Olympic qualification.
And the reputation of rugby in the Czech Republic to women, is it now an attractive, not quite fashionable, but an attractive prospect to go and see what it is like and have a go at it?
Well, I think it is slowly changing, like especially with sevens rugby. That is for the young girls. We don't play the young girls 14 to 17. They are not playing 15s, only sevens. And so this is it looks very different to 15s. So it is easier to sell to the parents to show them that it is not a brutal sport for men only. And they obviously now, when they can see the Olympics or sometimes even news from the World Rugby Series, 7th series, then it's easier to convince them that rugby is just a usual sport where girls can participate as well.
Sure. We touched on this with one of your equivalents at the Deutsche Rugby Verband on the potential changes in the rules, which, as you've just said, might be an incentive for girls to give it a go. It might be less physical, less dangerous, and more reliant on athletic types to take part.
The saying that rugby is for everyone, I think it's true, but some of the people are simply, their mentality, they will never enjoy playing rugby. On the other hand, there are many people who wouldn't think they can enjoy playing rugby. And when they give it a try, they simply love it and they won't quit. So this is what we are trying to do, just offer open trainings where the girls can get to know the team and make them involved, and then it's easier to show them that it's not a brutal sport, that it's actually fun, and that coming down to the ground sometimes during the game, it's nothing what can really hurt them, especially with proper training.
Excellent. Well, Paul, very right. He said we'd love to have you back on the show because there's too much to fit into half an hour. But thanks ever so much for your time. It's been a pleasure, and best of luck with everything in the next year.
Thank you very much for the invitation. My pleasure.
It's been great. It's been absolutely great. And look, just to wish you all the very best with the upcoming season. And we'll definitely keep in touch because we'd love to know what you're up to. I can imagine that you came up against some massive barriers trying to get women's rugby off the ground because, to be fair, the attitudes are slightly, not as progressive. So perhaps they need to be updated, and it's great that you're breaking new ground and showing that women can play rugby and produce a game that is fantastic to watch, as we are seeing in the UK. And again, there is possibly a greater acceptance of women's rugby in the UK, but there's still more to go.
But as you were talking about the barriers, maybe this is what make us so strong and to achieve something, that we came through all this, and it's just making us stronger.
Yes.
Maybe that's the reason.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Well, look, thanks once again for coming on, and hope to speak to you soon, and all the very best.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. And thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you next time.